Yeah. And speaking of turning points in team seasons, we're going to go over to the MLB and talk about the playoffs that have kicked off. Boston Red Sox beat the New York Yankees 6-2 last night, and about 25 minutes from now, first pitch for the Dodgers Cardinals, probably the greatest wild card game of all time, or single play-in. It's a one-game play-in game essentially, which sucks because I would love to see a 7-game series of that personally.
Yep.
It
wouldn't it be incredible? The Dodgers won 106 games. Wouldn't it be just be incredible if they laid an egg tonight and they don't make the real playoffs?
But they could just on the momentum that the Cardinals have had with the 17-game win streak in the last 10 days they had.
Yep.
So that's something else to behold. So this is definitely gonna be a fun game. Just real quick, who would you pick in this game?
I'm gonna pick the Dodgers. I think they're a better team, and the Scherzer on the mound. I think they're better, but it's so hard to just pick a single elimination.
I know.
Baseball game, like it's insane.
That they are. These should
like
be at least a 3-game series.
And yeah, I get that, but I get why it is what it is, how it is too. The Dodgers didn't win their division. They didn't play that well against the Giants most of the year. So, but the Giants also just played ridiculously well.
It seems like such a punishment though to win 106 games and play this and potentially still go home.
Yep. So but how do you fix it? The only way you fix it is, like you said, you either have it a 3-game series, or you restructure divisions. But you can't really do that, in my opinion, because it's like teams ebb and flow, right? I mean, it's not like
it's not like there's the Dodgers are a powerhouse the last couple several years.
And like they've been, the Yankees and Red Sox will probably always be there because they spend money, and but the Rays are kind of, they've been really good lately, but sometimes they're down. The Blue Jays are upstart, but they've been terrible before. The Astros have been up and down. You know what I mean? Like these things don't always stay the same. Other than, the big market teams, the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Red Sox. I mean, those are the teams that have been there consistently. But even then, they haven't won very many World Series. I mean, the Yankees haven't won a World Series in forever. So, I don't know how to fix it. It does suck. 106-win team playing in a single game playoff, but makes for good TV.
It's for sure. So let's talk about the ALDS. Obviously, we know the Red Sox and the Rays will play each other, and the White Sox and the Astros will play each other. Who do you pick in those games?
The AL is so interesting to me. Because I feel like most teams there's no team that sits there and stands out to me, right? As like just so much more talented. It's tough. I don't want to pick against the White Sox at all because they're my team, obviously. And I think they have as good a chance as anybody if they put it all together. But they've only had like 4 or 5 days where they've been completely healthy this year. And Jose Abreu is questionable for the first game of the year because he's got the flu. So we'll see how that goes. And the pitching isn't 100% healthy either. I
think their pitching is so deep though. But
it is. That'll be a tough series, but I'll pick the other one first. I think I'm actually going to go with the Red Sox in this one.
Okay.
They're hot, and I think them knocking the Yankees out is just going to kind of give them a little bit of extra juice. They've kind of started to catch fire. They've got healthy. You got Chris Sale back, so he's going to give you an extra arm in the playoffs. The bullpen's pretty good. Hansel Robles is somehow good now, even though he's terrible for the Twins. And if they can get JD Martinez, back healthy again for this series, then I feel really good about it. So I'm going to pick the Red Sox in that one. I'm going to pick the White Sox in this one. I'm just going to do it. I think that'll be a tough series. They haven't won at Houston this year, but they did beat Houston in Chicago. If they can just take 1 of 2 from Houston at Houston, then I feel really good about the series when it goes to Chicago. So I think their pitching matches up well with Houston, and as long as everybody's there healthy, good to go. I mean, when they've lost all those games at Houston, Eloy Jimenez was not playing. Yasmani Grandal was not playing, and neither was Luis Robert. And those are, three of your top 5 players probably. So, and Tim Anderson might even miss one of those games. So, I feel like a full strength White Sox team matches up pretty good with Houston. And as long, Houston's pitching doesn't scare me. Certainly not their.
Well, the Tigers went 8-1 all year against the Astros.
Yeah, I mean, their pitching doesn't scare me. Their lineup terrifies me. I mean, their lineup is deep and good, and they're experienced in the playoffs. So that's my reservation against picking the White Sox is the Astros have been here before, and they haven't gotten knocked out in the ALDS and since I don't know 2016 or something like that. So 2015 maybe. So they've been there before, and they've been consistent lately. So we'll see. But those are my 2 picks for that one.
Okay, my picks are I'm picking the Rays over the Red Sox.
Mm-hmm.
I think that one will be tight, and the Rays, I don't like their starting pitching at all, but their bullpen is quite reliable.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when Shane McClanahan's been your best pitcher, maybe Ryan Yarbrough, like that's not fun. Like that's not great. But they may be one of those teams that
they just find a way to get it done.
And I think they're going to abuse their bullpen. I think in these series, I think we're going to see a lot of their starters go 3 or 4 innings, and then they're just going to put Josh Fleming in for a long relief or something and try to run off from that. I don't know. My initial reaction was actually to pick them to win the World Series. I actually had them written down to win this World Series, and as I'm thinking everything out and looking at this pitching staff, I just don't think that's doable for long term.
Yeah.
But I am picking
shorter series. I can see it.
Yeah, I'm having them beat the Red Sox at the very least, and I'm going to pick the White Sox to win the series against the Astros in another competitive series. That one's a tough one for me to pick. That could go either way for sure. But I think White Sox are going to get healthy at some point. I think with all the pitching they've had with Lynn and Rodon and Giolito and Cease, those are good arms to be having right now. And they spend all that extra stuff just to get a bullpen. And then it's funny, every time I watch the bullpen, it seems like they're terrible, but they're a good bullpen all in all. So hopefully that shows up in the when it matters. What about your National League?
I'm gonna go Dodgers over Giants. So obviously I'll pick Dodgers over. Is it Dodgers and Giants in that game?
It'd be the Giants if they win. Yeah, they're playing.
I'm gonna go Dodgers over Giants. I just think they have a better roster, and I think it'll come to fruition.
Risking it all if they lose tonight, though.
I am risking it all if they lose tonight. And then what was the other game? Brewers and
Braves.
Braves.
Yep.
Man, I love the Brewers starting pitching, so I'm gonna go Brewers there.
Didn't Devin Williams hurt his hand being dumb though?
Yeah, that actually does throw a wrench in it there. They still have Josh Hader, who's probably I think he's better than Devin Williams.
Top Cy Young bullpen at least if you're gonna rank a Cy Young.
Devin Williams is a complete idiot. That's like Urban Meyer-esque stupidity right there.
Yeah.
He was drunk and punched a wall in celebration.
Don't we all?
Yes. So broke his pitching hand. I'm dude, you could have punched it with your left hand and you probably still could have figured it out a way to pitch.
Yeah, for sure.
Doing?
I don't understand that at all, but I'm not risking it on just tonight's game. I'm going to pick the Giants to win that series.
Okay.
I am probably going to pick – it's funny, my mid-season predictions when we did our mid-season award predictions playoff, I actually did pick the Brewers.
Yep. I remember that.
I think I'm leaning towards Atlanta right now, even though they had kind of a meh finish.
Yep.
I just think they have the pieces to put it together maybe again when it matters.
Yeah.
I don't know if Corbin Burns and pretty much Josh Hader is their pitching now. I mean, no, they have Woodruff. Yeah, they imagine if Devin Williams was there though. I think they'd be a team to be reckoned with for sure. That would help. I'm still going to go Atlanta.
Okay.
So I'll dig Giants in Atlanta, which I think is complete opposite of you for the NL.
Yep.
So what's your ALCS then? That means you pick Boston and White Sox.
The White Sox are a better team than Boston, so I'm gonna have them go in the World Series. They beat Boston this year.
Okay.
Boston's just been so weird. Like they should have been. They were so far ahead early, and they fell apart. And it took them scratching and clawing and a Rafael Devers home run to even make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And now I feel like they're gonna be hot though. So, but they have the White Sox have a deeper team, a deeper bullpen for sure, a better bullpen, and that makes a difference in these, the 7-game series. So.
Yeah, I mean, as long as the White Sox stay healthy, I think they get all their players back and they just work it through. I'm picking the White Sox over the Rays.
They beat the Rays in the regular season too.
Yeah, so I'm gonna probably have that one in 7 though.
Yeah, the Rays don't scare me with anything they have, and then they figure out a way to win almost 100 games. So
they play small ball. They just get to you. They rack up the pitch count. They're very patient at the plate.
Yep, and they're a good team. Like I shouldn't say they don't scare me because they're an excellent team, but on paper I'm like, man, they don't have anybody they have really good players. Like Randy Rosarena, I guess, is a star, but he's not a star.
Wander Franco is probably a future star too. I mean,
but they'll probably trade him. That's what they keep doing. They get these guys that are really good, about to be break out, and then they trade them because they can't pay him anymore. We'll probably end up trading Wander too.
That would be a surprise.
I think they will eventually. I don't know how quickly it'll happen, but they'll down the road. Once
it's probably just a small market way you have to do things.
Yeah,
I would anticipate that's the reason. I know Joey Wendell's also been hot, so if they do win this game, I would actually maybe pick the Rays. I think any AL team that's in has a good chance to win this whole thing.
Yeah,
that's kind of where I'm leaning at right now. If the Rays won, I'd probably say Joey Wendell would be the MVP. But yeah, I'm picking the White Sox in 7 in this game. And then NLCS, I had the Giants and Braves, but I'm the Giants winning that game in 5.
Yeah, I had Dodgers and
Dodgers Brewers.
Yeah. I would love to see the Brewers White Sox in the World Series because that would be super cool for small market.
And yeah, they're very close to each other too.
It would be really cool. That was a fun series when they played each other. Just the pitching was great, just cool matchups. But the Dodgers would win that series, so they go Dodgers.
Okay, so your World Series matchup is the Dodgers White Sox, and how many games is that going?
6.
And who are you picking?
Dodgers in 6, probably. I would love to be man, the White Sox are going to win it this year, but they just don't have the playoff experience, and it takes, the Dodgers even lost in the World Series a couple of years in a row before they kind of got through the hump, and it just takes time. Maybe it won't. If I were to pick the White Sox, Luis Robert would be the MVP, the World Series MVP, but for the Dodgers, I'm going to go outlier here and Trey Turner.
Ooh. There you go. I mean,
not outlier. He's a star, but.
I mean, I would say, Trey Turner, you could argue, is probably 4th in MVP votes this year. But, so I had the White Sox Giants, and I'm going to take the White Sox in 6 over the Giants.
Okay.
And I'm going.
Your MVP.
And Tim Anderson.
Okay. That would be awesome.
Just because he's a Tigers killer, I think he can be a Giants killer.
He lives for the big stage, so they get there. I mean, he was amazing in the playoffs last year against the A's. He broke the record for hits in a series. So.
Well, so you're putting all your chips on the Dodgers. If they lose tonight, though, this whole thing is for naught. It's going to be frustrating. But I mean, I really believe, though, you're 100% right. If they win this game, I think they're
a better roster than anybody in baseball. That's the thing. I know they're in the play-in game, but they have a better roster than anybody in baseball.
Yeah,
that's why I'm picking it. Not that.
That's why I hate this as a 1-game series, because they win a 3-game series. It doesn't
necessarily matter that they have a better roster. You know what I mean? That's not really how baseball works, and that's why the 1-game thing is it sucks. But I mean,
that's why you have to have such a long season for baseball, because just baseball is that kind of sport. It's
that's
one bad
pitching. It can't. It could be a 45-game season. I'm like, no, it can't. You get one guy who's hurt, no.
Same with your ace. Your ace is going to have 2 or 3 bad starts a year, and you're your best pitcher.
Yeah.
That doesn't show talent. Yeah.
Garrett Cole was 16-8 this year.
Mm-hmm.
And he was arguably the best pitcher in the AL for the most
He's
part.
probably, him and Robbie Ray probably are the two candidates. So
Exactly.
Okay, well, we made our picks for the playoffs. That'll be exciting to get over to. Let's check out the awards. AL MVP, I think this is unanimous, or is it Shohei Ohtani?
I mean,
Vlad is the only one that might get a vote.
Guerrero has a chance there, but Ohtani.
Yeah. I think this one's pretty. I think it's gonna be unanimous. That we haven't seen anything like this since Babe Ruth. So
yeah, I mean, it's got to be Ohtani. I mean, Guerrero's had an MVP level season.
I know. In a lot of years,
any other year he might win it easily. You know what I mean? But this, it's got to be
even Marcus Semien and Aaron Judge have had pretty solid years.
Yep.
So, NL MVP. This one is. I think there's three guys that battle for it. I'm going to take Bryce Harper, and I'm going to say that's maybe over Soto and Tatis Jr. I think Muncy, Trey Turner, Goldschmidt, and Freeman all get a vote, though.
I'm actually going to take, I don't want to take Tatis. I struggle to take guys who are on teams that didn't make the playoffs. I really do, even though it shouldn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
But all three of those top guys are on teams that I'm going to take Soto.
Okay. Soto made it a lot closer than I expected it to be.
He's been insane. I mean, he's basically not been able to get out for like 2 months. So
he was who I picked in the 2020 season for the.
Soto might be the best player in baseball that people don't actually really talk about.
He's still so young. He's got to do it longer. I think that's the argument a lot of people make, but sure. He's killing it. Yeah. AL Cy Young. I'm gonna maybe this is a reach. I'm taking Robbie Ray over Garrett Cole.
The AL Cy Young's weird this year.
I don't think anyone was supernatural good. Like that's
nobody was completely.
Lance Lynn, Carlos Rodon,
those two
John Means, Nate Eovaldi.
They all but got hurt in the middle of the year. I'm gonna take Cole. I'm gonna take Cole.
Okay.
I don't like that pick. I mean, maybe
it's probably one of the worst Cy Young years for an AL in a long time.
Well, there was not a single pitcher this year that pitched over 200 innings either in the AL. That's never happened before.
Wow. Yep. Do you think that extra roster spot now that we hit 26, it's like now you can afford
a lot of guys had it as a pitcher, so I think that's part of it. And I think just like with the weird year last year, so many guys got hurt. A lot of guys. I mean, even Garrett Cole went down for a period of time. Rodon and Lynn were up there at the beginning of the year, and they both got hurt in the middle of the year. Liam Hendricks might deserve. I know you hate on him for the blown saves sometimes, but he had 113 strikeouts and 7 walks this year.
That's the best ratio in baseball. I think too many blown saves.
But I'm just saying, if you're going to pick a reliever, like he might be up there. Probably not for the blown saves. I would agree with that.
I think Josh Hader to me had the best bullpen season for anyone, but
I'd agree. I mean, let's see. Hendricks had 38 saves this year, 2.54 ERA. Hold on. 71 innings pitched. He only gave up 45 hits. So, I mean, if you're going relievers, you could probably look at him. I don't know. But I would say probably Cole or Robbie Ray has been pretty consistent, but I'm going to go with Cole.
Okay. All right. NL Cy Young. I'm going to take Max Scherzer, and I'm going to take him over Corbin Burns, Zach Wheeler, and Walker Buehler.
I'm actually going to take Burns.
Okay. Burns, yeah, he's been something. He's been good. I think a lot of people already anticipated him as a top 10 pitcher in the NL. I just finishing first or second. And the Cy Young voting this year, that's a great trajectory.
Yep.
I did pick AL comeback. I picked Mitch Haniger.
Okay. Yeah.
NL comeback, I picked Buster Posey.
I think Posey's the unanimous there. It's the easy one.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go him for NL. For AL, man, this is hard. But yeah, Haniger's the good pick. I'll go with Haniger as well.
AL manager of the year. Who are we taking?
Taking La Russa.
LaRussa. I actually would put LaRussa fourth. I just think he had more to work with, but he also had injuries. I'm not gonna discount the cycling out of injuries. I'm picking Kevin Cash, but I think
Cash is because I think he's done it before. Not necessarily the manager of the year, but he's like the Rays were expected to be good too. Not that the White Sox weren't, but I just think LaRussa
such a competitive division. Such a competitive division.
True, that's true. That's really true. I don't know.
I think the other options? I mean, so actually I had LaRussa fourth, but Scott Cervais with the Mariners. The Mariners were not expected to be good. Mariners were not expected.
If they made the playoffs, I probably would have maybe picked him.
Yeah, and maybe it's a homer, but AJ Hinch, what he did with the Tigers roster that shouldn't have won more than 65.
It deserves consideration.
Yeah, and then the person I put right behind LaRussa is Dusty Baker for the Astros.
Yeah,
I wanted to list 5. That was fun for me. NL manager, I actually gave this one pretty unanimous. I don't know who you're taking for NL manager, but I'm taking Gabe Kapler.
Yeah, Gabe Kapler deserves it.
Yeah.
He had doubters, so yeah, you got to go Kapler.
To me, it's unanimous. I couldn't even.
The Giants were not. I mean, they were expected to maybe be decent, like third place is what I would say they should have been. Mm-hmm. And they're not. They're not a. I mean, they're best team in baseball. So.
Yeah. And then the rookie of the year is AL rookie of the year. Who you thinking here? Franco made such a great finish. Like all in all, you look at his whole line for the year, it wasn't as good, but you look at the last 30 games, and I'm pretty sure he hit like 360 and had home run power, RBIs, just super effective in the field.
Yep.
I think he's going to beat out Randy Arozarena for that reason. Another Ray.
Yep. And I think people just like because of what Arozarena did in the playoffs last year, I think they just kind of don't really like you don't really realize him as a rookie sometimes too. And I think people have that recency bias with Franco and just how young he is, and I think that he'll edge it out.
I have Ryan Mountcastle, Adolis Garcia, and Akil Baddoo also on the AL list. And I could probably say Eric Haas right there with Akil Baddoo. But they're just I think they'll be on the list. I agree with that. I think Adolis Garcia was my midseason pick. He was going off for a while there. He kind of slowed down. But he's a killer arm in right field too.
He does.
NL, I think there are less options.
Definitely.
Depth-wise, I'm taking Trevor Rogers in the NL.
Yeah.
And Jonathan India definitely crossed my mind.
I think India. I'm going to pick India. I think he was such a big part of that Reds team. If the Reds had just done something, like they were a team that was disappointing to me in the end. Mm-hmm. But if they had just done something, then I probably would have definitely picked him. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Jonathan India there. I think he's first or second.
The only other guy that jumps out, I'm third, is Patrick Wisdom for the Cubs.
Yeah, he just kind of sprung on the scene kind of late, and he hit like 25 home runs, 30 home runs almost. Yeah. But he kind of flew under the radar because the Cubs sold the team midseason. Then it's like, no one's watching the Cubs anymore. But yeah, he had an incredible season.
Yeah, it'll be fun to see how some of those guys develop. All right, I'm good to finish up here with the pick 6. Anything else on MLB? Okay.
No, it should be a super fun playoff. I mean, I'm excited to watch it. If the Dodgers lose tonight, it's going to throw the whole thing in flux. Obviously, for my pick, but like in general, I think
we'll always know that they had more in them, though. If it was even a 3-game series,
it'd be extremely disappointing season, though. If they lose tonight, like it's going to be so disappointing. But I've seen it happen I've been on the team that was supposed to win. Like I've been on that team. We were ranked number 1 in the state. We were playing the team who was ranked like 7th in the state, so they were really good too. But we threw a perfect game against them earlier in the year. Like, so we were supposed to dominate, right? Mm-hmm. And we just went out there. Pitcher just didn't quite have it. And then we ran out there. I wouldn't say we kind of laid an egg and we lost like 7-3, right? Because we had a really bad like second inning.